James McAvoy joins us live now from our central London studios. Very good to see you this evening. Thanks indeed for joining us. Now, you spent quite a bit of time out there during the filming itself, but presumably your contact then and your contact on this most recent trip must have been very different. Yeah,
it was incredibly different. Before, I was in a country that I had no expectation of whatsoever, and it's still relatively poverty is still relatively high in the south. However, going back this time to see for myself a conflict zone that has been a conflict zone for over 20 years now, and in which 1.7 million people have been affected, was somewhat different. Yeah.
It must have been a gift to the Red Cross seeing this film make such extraordinary impact on the public, really, knowing that it is, for a charity like the Red Cross, a fantastic opportunity to get some focus in on issues like this. How did they approach you and how did your trip come about?
Well, really, I was contemplating the fact that the film was doing no end of favours to my career, Forrest Whitaker's career, the director's career, the producer's career, anybody involved with the film. We've all had huge boosts in our career trajectory because of the film and because of our association with Uganda. I was thinking about this and thinking about the fact that we've done very little back for Uganda. When the Red Cross sent a letter and it arrived on the day when I was thinking about this, rather strangely, I phoned them up immediately. And we started talking about perhaps visiting the north of Uganda, which I had heard about. I'd had first-hand stories of people who had escaped from the north when I was there the first time. And I know it's a cliche, but it was about giving something back when we have received so much from Uganda.
So what did you see when you travelled to the north, and what sort of projects is the Red Cross involved with there?
Well, largely what we saw were internally displaced people's camps. An internally displaced person is someone who is forced to leave their home because of war, because of conflict. Forced to leave their home and live in a camp. Sometimes 50, 60, 70,000 people living in a space of land that is maybe no bigger than a handful of football pitches. Conditions are incredibly cramped. Disease is rife. Because of the proximity of the houses, due to lack of land, but also due to a sense of safety in numbers, the fire risk is huge and disease is huge. One house goes up, they all go up. I arrived in a village a few hours after they had such a fire, and 70 homes had gone. 70 families, not even sleeping in the streets, sleeping in the bush. So not only are the threats external from rebel forces, they're not just violent threats from outside, the threats are inside as well. Some of the things that the Red Cross are doing are providing food, seeds, tools to grow their own food as well as just handouts, because vital to people's sense of self-worth is being able to have some control over their own lives. Some of the people in these camps have been here for 20 years. With no work, no jobs, no infrastructure, no society to speak of. So to be able to exert some control over your food production, it gives back a certain sense of dignity and self-control. Distributing medicine, clothing, mama bags, which are home birthing kits, because a lot of people, the access to primary health care is non-existent, so babies are born at home, and when I say home, I mean incredibly unsanitary conditions. So mama bags are vital. They cost about £20, I believe, for one mama kit, and that provides a complete bag for home birthing safely.
What do you say? I mean, I suppose people are used to, I mean, particularly people who've grown up, I suppose, through the Live Aid generation, etc., look at Africa, they look at stars associating themselves with efforts to help countries in Africa, and wonder whether things are actually ever going to improve there, and wonder whether they can genuinely help. What would you say in the face of cynicism like that?
I think cynicism is a huge issue, and it's something that I myself suffered from, if I'm being perfectly honest. Before I went to Uganda, I think the question of how can we fix what's going on in Africa, I don't know how you do that. I don't know if it is possible in the foreseeable future. Who knows? Speaking to a lot of African people, I don't think they see it being solved in the foreseeable future. But what you can do is you can help people right now, and I don't think that is a bad thing. Please don't let your cynicism, I think, become an excuse not to give, because I think people aren't scared to donate money. I don't think people are scared to give a pound, and believe you me, 50 pence or a pound is a fantastic thing to give. It doesn't have to be tens or hundreds or anything. 50 pence is enough. Instead of people being scared or being worried about giving their own money away, I think people are actually more concerned about opening themselves to the fact that the reality of the world would say, you're very happy, but most of the people in the world are not. And I don't know how you fix it, but you can give something and it will only be good. No bad can come of it. And making someone's life a tiny bit better by giving 50p is a humongously important thing.
OK, James McAvoy, wish you all the best with your work with the Red Cross. I'm sure they're very
Before
happy
you
to have you
go,
on board. Oh, yes, one very quick one.
Can I just tell you the website address? So that if you do work with it, it's www.redcross.org.uk/Uganda.
We'll put it on our website. James McAvoy, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Good luck.
See ya.